How we doing this week, Mr. Hoyer?
I'm good. I wish we were talking after a win, but look, it's the NFL, and the sky is not falling. It's going to be okay.
Okay. So you took
That makes me feel better. I'm not going to lie.
You took a little heat last week for your prediction of 8 to 11 wins. There was some criticism that it was a wide range. Have you altered your range based on the results of this game?
No, I don't think so. And look, I come from the Bill Belichick world of where you don't make predictions. I get it. I'm doing media right now, but there's in reality, there's too many factors to go in to be accurate. And so I look at it as like when I go through the schedule and I go through each game and I said, that should be a win. This should be a loss. And somewhere in between there, that's where I get that number. But I think the big word for me watching that game was just inconsistency. There was a lot of good things that I saw, both offensively, defensively, but there were too many things that basically led to the loss, right? I think obviously you have to turnover. That never helps. When it comes to the defense, there was a lot of times I'm watching, I'm like, man, I haven't seen a defense get after the opposing quarterback like this in a long time. But then there were other plays where Geno has all day to throw, and he's throwing the ball down the field for explosive plays. I mean, I don't know how many third downs they skipped. We talk about that as a player. You would rather just skip third down. It's such a hard play. And with the amount of explosive pass plays they gave up, that really made it easy on the Raiders. They didn't have to face a lot of third down situations and stay on the field. They were just doing it with explosive pass plays.
Yeah, and a lot of times, Brian, it was against the blitz. I mean, they're going to live and die by the blitz. Mm-hmm. They blitz the third most of any team in week one. But, Brian, I got to ask you just about what you thought of Drake Maye's overall performance. It looked like after that interception to start the second half that the offense went into the tank. But a lot of high balls, to start the game. Just your overall impressions of how Drake played.
No, Ted, I agree with you. I think so. After that first drive, I mean, the first third down of the game, his feet are just a little off. He seemed a little rushed, even though it was a really good pocket. And he overthrows Pop Douglas. Look, the ball's slick. You're going to have good fundamentals, and it starts with your feet. But after that, I thought he really settled in, and there were a lot of good throws. I mean, the throw to Hunter Henry up the sideline, I was breaking that play down today, and he's throwing it with such anticipation. Hunter's not even turned his head, and he's leading him up the sideline. There were a lot of plays like that, the back shoulder to Booty, the end cuts. I mean, there were a lot of the comebacks there, the touchdown pass to Pop Douglas. That was honestly what I was most excited about, because having run that offense before, they did a tremendous job. They send the running back out. They see the safeties cover him, which is a dead giveaway that it's blitz zero. He changes the play. He goes immediately to the answer, which is an outbreaking route against inside leverage. Pop Douglas does a good job stemming to getting at the goal line, breaking, perfect. I mean, you couldn't have done it any better than that. And that's the growth that I expected to see from Drake. And it really went that way until the interception. And when you watch that play, look, and obviously I'm a little biased here as a quarterback, he gets hit as he's releasing the ball. When I look at the read, he's throwing it to the right place. The nickel jumped the running back on the short route. He's throwing the in cut behind it. He's getting hit as he's throwing it, and as I said, the ball sails on him, and it's an interception. And it felt like after that he got a little bit tentative, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, having played for Josh before, would you say that at first a Josh McDaniels offense with all the wrinkles, the look at me's, the audibles at the line, and et cetera, like that it can be a lot for a quarterback, because there's been this whole ongoing thing about like, well, there may be too much on Drake's plate or a lot to try to consume, considering the relationship is 7 months old at this point.
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, we saw it happen with another rookie quarterback, and this is Drake's second year. I get it, it's his first year with Josh, but Mac Jones was able to do it. And I think the one thing with Josh, he's never going to put anything on the quarterback's plate that he doesn't think he can handle. And so I didn't see, other than that touchdown blitz zero, which he was easily executed to perfection, I didn't see a lot of, changing the plays or alerts or anything like that. I think they basically said, go out there and play, right? And I think Josh will only give him what he can handle. And the big thing is, I know a lot of people made a big point of this during training camp. I think I hit on this last week. There's a lot to build the fundamentals of the offense, the foundation of the offense. But now we're in the season. It's going to be about game plan offense. So what they did last week against the Raiders, they may not do this week against the Dolphins because it doesn't go against that scheme. And so it will adapt and it will adjust. But what he's putting on the quarterback is basically setting the play with the mic call, and then there's going to be some plays in there where there are alerts. You're calling 2 plays in the huddle, and every offense does that.
Brian Hoyer here on WEEI Afternoons. Brian, one of the things that Vrabel seemed almost annoyed with yesterday was the lack of a run game, and he even said something to the effect, we can't always look to run it into the perfect front or something like that. Sometimes we just have to run it. From your perspective as a quarterback who's involved with that decision, sort of doing that numbers game in the box,
Yep.
how does that play out for a young quarterback who's doing what his coach is telling him, but the head coach wants to run it more? How are we going to see that sort of get fixed?
Well, I think if you want to run it more, you got to have success running. And when I watched the offense, especially on the coaches' tape, they just weren't in sync. They weren't getting good double teams together. There was actually a lot of, I don't know if they were either missed assignments or bad blocks, but there were a few plays where, call it a wham play, where the outside guy's coming down and hitting one of the defensive linemen, and the center's supposed to get to the second level. They just weren't in sync. And you see guys who are supposed to be getting to the second level trying to make up for blocks that the lineman had missed. And so at a certain point, when things aren't working, you got to adapt, you got to adjust. And that's why I thought in the second half we saw a few more of those, call them swing passes, screen passes to the running backs, because sometimes that can be the extension of the running game. But I didn't see a lot of push from the offensive line that would give you a lot of confidence to keep running the football.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, can they maybe have started doing some more perimeter runs, because nothing inside was working. But that's that's here nor there. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on just, I think a very important position on this in this scheme in this offense is the slot position. And Demario Douglas, he had 2 catches. That was a nice kind of catch, that touchdown catch. But 2 catches on 7 targets, Brian, for -2 yards.
Yep.
I just thought this kid was going to lead the team in receptions, but for the guy that played the second most snaps of any receiver, 2 catches, it's not going to get it done. Just your thoughts on him specifically.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, that first third down of the game, he's open and Drake's got to hit him. And I think that was more about footwork than anything else. He had a good pocket. He seemed to really kind of push up too far. He didn't need to, and his heels got close together. He got too narrow. Now the ball sails on you because you got to take a bigger stride. And then there was one over the middle that I'm remembering right now that just hit Pop right in the hands, and he dropped it. And so you're right. That's a huge position in this offensive scheme, is that slot receiver working those middle routes, those option routes, things like that. The one thing that I took away from it was Drake really trusts Kayshon Boutte. I mean, how many times did he go to him? And the one thing that I would say is Boutte has really bought into this system and the way they're coaching it, because last year at times his routes tended to get a little sloppy. His routes were crisp, and you can see the trust that Drake has in him. And so that's why I felt like you call it go with the hot hand, whatever it might be, but he felt very comfortable throwing the ball to Boutte on Sunday.
Brian, who would you like to see a little more from in week 2? Obviously going down to Miami. The Dolphins got absolutely smashed like 2003 Peyton Manning style by Daniel Jones and the Colts, which was
Danny Dimes.
big time comeback player of the year. Book it right now. It'll be a challenge, but obviously there were a lot of, fast rookies. People are clamoring for more Kyle Williams, more Travion, maybe even making my guy Efton Chisholm active for the game.
Yeah, I think Henderson's the one that I really want to see get going, especially when you look at where the Dolphins are. They're reeling right now. There's, Tyreek Hill wants a trade. It's bad. It's a bad juju down there. And I think they gave up close to 160 yards rushing against the Indianapolis Colts. I think that's got to be going through the Patriots' mind all week, is we have to establish the running game. Once we establish the running game, it really makes everybody else's life a lot easier. It's going to make Drake's life easier. He's not going to attempt 46 attempts again. And so I think the goal going down to Miami is to get the running game going, get Travion Henderson going, and really that should settle everything down. And also I think it's a good pairing on the defensive side of the ball, because Tua had 2 picks and a fumble this past weekend. He's prone to give the ball away, especially when you make him hold on to it. So we'll see, can they disguise, bring some of these zone pressures, he holds on the ball, and then makes a bad decision with it.
Brian, before we let you go, I got to ask you, this is something we were talking about earlier, Ted and I. J.J. McCarthy last night has his NFL debut, looks average to maybe a little below for 3 quarters, but seemed to have a lot of confidence going into the fourth quarter and then just has a remarkable fourth quarter to pull out a win. And there were comments coming out of Minnesota about how his teammates were like, he kept saying he's fine, he's okay, even after the interception. I got you guys. He's a guy that's won at every level. Is there an it factor?
Lose, man.
Is there an it factor to the quarterback position? How important is it for the quarterback to get the other 10 guys to believe, no matter what's going on, I'm the guy to lead you guys to victory right now?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, we saw the best to do it for 20 years. Ted, you play with him, I play with him. I mean, look, he wasn't the most athletic. He worked his butt off, but he had a factor where when you looked at that guy, you were like, there's no way we're going to lose. And so not everybody has that. It has to be something that's developed. It has to be something that's earned and your teammates believe in it. Clearly, I don't know if you guys saw Kevin O'Connell in the post game in the locker room and the way that he was reacting to his quarterback and the way the team reacted to it. I mean, those are huge. But look, football is a humbling game. We watched that Baltimore-Buffalo game the other night. I mean, the Ravens are running the ball all over the Buffalo Bills. Derrick Henry looks incredible. And what happens? He fumbles the ball, and that's the difference in the game. And so the NFL can turn on you in a heartbeat. And so just like J.J. McCarthy started poorly, all it took was some great plays at the end, and now he's the hero. And that goes a long way. And then next week, and then you continue to build on that. So definitely, I mean, look, of all positions, being a quarterback is not just the physical part, not just the mental part, the emotional part, everything that goes into it. And sometimes it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes moments like that for it to kind of come to fruition.
All right, Brian, appreciate you bringing that perspective to us. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Brian.
Great stuff, man. Thanks.